Hello, everyone. My name is Quardokus Fisher, and I'm an assistant professor at Florida International University in the Department of Earth and Environment and the STEM Transformation Institute. Today, I'm going to be talking about applying ideas from organizational change to improving diversity, equity, and inclusion in STEM, specifically work I've done with the support of the National Science Foundation in the geosciences. To give context to my work, I'm going to begin with a few ideas from organizational change. There are multiple ways to conceptualize how change happens in an organization. Two contrasting ideas are presented here. One approach is more linear. This approach to change aligns well with the work of formal leaders. These leaders can develop a vision, create momentum around the vision, and have the authority to institutionalize these changes. The second is emergent and represents how grassroots change takes place. Notice that this process starts with motivation. Grassroots first has new ideas developed before they are organized into a vision and move toward change. Another feature to notice is that institutionalization is the last step in the process for linear change and the conclusion of a single cycle for emergent change. There is a lot of work to do before the change is formalized in the organization. Today, I'm going to focus on the emergent cycle of change because this represents grassroots change. New ideas are developed together with the people of the organization. This is in contrast to a leader or a change agent prescribing what change will take place. In emergent change, the role of the facilitator is to guide the development of new ideas by identifying broad boundaries of what types of ideas should be pursued. For example, in higher education, it may be as simple as the idea that as a department, we care deeply about our students' learning and experiences. The specific ideas of how to change the organization to meet this purpose are then developed in the process of change. Complexity leadership theory by Ulvien, Marion, and McKelvey further illuminates how emergent change happens in an organization. In this image, the dots represent people in the organization. New ideas develop among groups of people working on specific tasks. Once these ideas are developed, a group of people, who often are not immediately involved in the task, need to learn about the new idea. These are the middle managers in an organization. In a department, this might be the chair. These people, whether they know it or not, are gatekeepers of these new ideas. They might promote them to higher leadership, who have more authority to make changes, or in the case of departments, bring them to the faculty or to the dean. On the other hand, they might stifle them. The role of the administration then is to align any new ideas within the structures of the organization, or if necessary, build new structures to adopt these new ideas. Combining the process and the roles of the individuals in the community creates a clearer picture of how change can happen. When you want to be a change agent, begin by thinking about where you are in the community. Are you an on-the-ground idea generator? Are you a gatekeeper that can promote the work of others and build momentum? Or are you the formal leader that needs to be open to these new ideas and formalize what is happening? Considering where you are not only tells you your role in the process, but helps you realize who you may need on your team to be successful. To build this team, start with relationship building. Plan casual meetings such as a getting to know you coffee or lunch. These pathways need to be developed so the new ideas can be formed and promoted. Now that I've outlined some conceptual ideas about change, I want to warn you about some common mistakes. The first is particularly important in STEM, and that is that people are resistant to making change based on data. Often as scientists, we feel that if we saw the data and the data said change, we would change. In reality, the process is related to building momentum by sharing new ideas. The change process is less about proving through data what change is needed. Second is that change happens all the time in organizations, but facilitating and guiding it requires planning. This presentation is meant as a first step into this space by considering what to plan. As you enter this process, the more ways you're able to think about change, the more you will have ideas about how you might move forward in your change cycle. Now I'm going to transition into talking about my work in the geosciences. Hearts of Gold was a professional development program for senior geoscientists across academia and federal agencies. This program aimed to infuse new ideas of diversity, equity, and inclusion through the process of communities of practice. Communities of practice, like complexity leadership theory, recognizes the different roles people play in communities. New ideas can develop as people complete tasks, but they also come from outside of the community. A change agent can bring in these new ideas by sharing what they know with others, sharing artifacts that help the communication of the new ideas, such as journal articles, and bringing people together to contemplate these new ideas in their specific context. From the research on Hearts of Goals participants, I'm going to highlight a few ideas that emerge about how to be a change agent in this space. More detail is available in our publication that's listed on the bottom of this slide. The first thing we noticed was before anyone can be a change agent, they had to notice when diversity, equity, and inclusion were being challenged in their workplace. Furthermore, if you're building your team, start with helping other people on your team notice too. Our brains are wired to not notice things. If we noticed everything in our environment all the time, we would be overwhelmed. Instead, we have mental models that we fit this information into. If you or your colleagues don't have a framework where diversity, equity, inclusion fit, then it will be easy to not register these ideas or not even to notice them. To start your work, start by noticing. As this participant pointed out, this noticing will probably come with the realization that there are daily activities where diversity, equity, and inclusion are at play. Next, we found that our participants moved into using their own voice to share ideas. If noticing is step 1, sharing documents might be step 2, but ultimately to be a leader, putting these new ideas into your own words is step 3. When this work is public, you will start to promote your new ideas. For Hearts of Gold, this included agency newsletters or blogs on departmental websites. As participants started using their own voice, it was important for them to be humble and willing to be a continuous learner. To come in as a know-it-all is to plan to fail. These are complex issues, and as a leader in this space, you need to be prepared for making mistakes and recovering from them. Finally, once you have your team and you're using your voice, don't forget that you're in a community and change takes planning. Find your gatekeepers who can promote your work. Think about how it aligns with your organization and be prepared for the cycle to continue. Thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to change and diversity, equity, and inclusion in organizations in STEM and are ready to take your next step wherever you might be in the process.